This is my 2015 Chevy Silverado Z71 with the LTZ package, fully loaded with now 5,600 miles since this happened. If you guys have been following along on the main channel, you know that my Silverado was underwater and now it's not. And it's been 1,000 miles since the rebuild and everything is going great. And I promised you guys that I would break down the exact cost and why I don't count my labor hours in these builds. So you're gonna get that all right now on Legit Street Cars 2. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more stuff like this. So just like the main channel, we're getting right into this. I'm gonna break down the true cost of a YouTube rebuild because a lot of the stuff out there, guys, it only makes sense if you're a content creator. And I've gotten so many messages about this truck because it seemed like a really good deal in the videos, which this happened to be, but it's not always this way. So you guys know, if you watched the end of the last video, that I have $10,100 into this truck. That includes the $5,300 that I paid for it at Copart, and then there's $1,200 in fees, which is a lesson in itself. If you guys are buying at any of these auctions, you have to factor in fees because you could get to a point on a lot of these cars that you could just go on Facebook Marketplace and get a clean title one for about the same cost. So not everything at the auction is a good deal. So $6,500 for the Silverado, $3,600 in parts, no labor to fix it. $10,100 was my total for this truck. The clean title normal version of this is worth about $29,000. In fact, the insurance company paid out Russ $29,500 just about 3 months ago. And I looked it up, they're like right around 29 to like 31. You know, 55,000 mile truck, 56 now. There are a couple of other things to consider that I haven't done yet, which is some of the body work. You guys saw me fix up the door with Dennis Does Dents, and honestly, I'm pretty happy with it. But if you wanted the truck to be 100% mint, you'd need a new door. And then also on the bed, there's some scratches that we have to get fixed. If you don't do any body work, this could easily be $2,000 to $3,000. So let's just say $3,000 in body work. If you don't do it yourself, you're at 13. The truck's worth, I think, about $20,000 with its branded title. So branded titles usually come in at about 30% less than clean title, depending on the damage. I think this definitely applies. It was a flood car, which was, you know, heavy damage. So $29,000 minus the 30%, this thing is worth about $20,000 as it sits. I think that's very fair. And I would have about $13,000 into it if I got that body stuff fixed. Anyway, I have sponsors for that and stuff. So like anytime I add this stuff up for you guys, I'm just gonna give you real world costs because you're not gonna get the same deals that I'm gonna get. That's what we have into the Silverado. And I'll briefly go over what most of this stuff was. That, you know, the more expensive stuff, I have a breakdown of literally every single part. When I finished this build, I'm like, I got maybe 1,500 into this thing, and I was way wrong. You way underestimate stuff all the time because there were a lot of little parts. Like we had fuse panels that were only $39, $38 on eBay. The big one under the hood was a $130 used. We have a distribution block, $34. The BCM was $138 new at the dealer, so that's not bad. But there were some really expensive ones from the dealer, mostly two of them. The HMI was $750, and you can only buy those new. And I also learned after the fact that had I just gotten an HMI from a 16 and newer, I would have gotten Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so I messed up on that one. What can you do? So that was $750. Let's see, like the head unit used was $192. The cluster was $109. The telematics module was the only other one we had to buy new from the dealer, and that was $500. The oil pan we bought new, but it was $244, complete upper and lower with a filter and gasket and everything. It was a great deal. And then lots of little things, air filter, $15, spark plug, $63, all those fluids added up to a couple $100. More switches we have on here. GPS splitter, $56. We have a $6 GPS cable. So, you know, mostly all electronics on this outside of the oil pan and all of the fluids. And I believe I got really lucky with this truck. So this is not how it always goes, guys. Had we just had a bad engine, you'd have been underwater on this car. Okay, a lot of luck plays into this, and obviously when you're watching YouTube videos, especially everybody that does these Copart and you know, salvage auction builds, most of them just want to look good, and they don't break down all the exact numbers. They just want it to look like they're smart and look like they're doing a good job. And there's nothing wrong with that because YouTube is primarily for entertainment these days, right? So it's an entertaining thing. It doesn't always have to make sense financially. A lot of it just seems all positive, and it's not. You can get really screwed And actually soon you guys are gonna see on the main channel, I think I might have just gotten super screwed on a car that I just bought out in Boston. It's at my friend Rich's, and I think I might have gotten screwed on that one. So that'll be a good lesson for everybody. The real cost of YouTube builds, most of the time they don't make any sense. You see these guys, they spend $150,000 on something that's super wrecked, and the clean title version is worth $250, and they're like, I saved $100,000. And it's like, no, because you could just subtract 30% right off that $250 right off the bat, and then you haven't even rebuilt the car yet. So, you know, generally speaking, factor in the fees, and then also if it's salvage title or rebuilt. If it's salvage, you can't even title the car yet. You have to rebuild it first, then get it inspected in your state, pay a lot of money for that, then you get a rebuilt title issued to you. So consider the title status, and then just consider worst case scenarios. So saltwater floods, bad. You're gonna be in rough shape, okay? Clean water, you know, fresh water, I mean, like this, you're in better shape, but it still could be a nightmare. These are my costs right now. I put 1,000 miles in the truck and it has been great. Do I know what's gonna happen next year? Probably nothing, I think it's fine, but you know, it wouldn't be weird if some kind of electrical gremlin popped up. It was fully submerged for like 45 minutes. So there's risk, guys, there's risk. Not everything is good. All right, so something else. Why do I not count labor? And I've talked about this briefly in other videos, but it's something that gets commented all the time whenever I do a job, not even a full rebuild like this, but even if I do like a valve cover gasket on a car or something, I'll say the valve cover gasket was only $3, so this is a great DIY job. And then people are like, yeah, plus 3 hours of your labor, and then they'll make up some kind of number for my labor time. And then they're like, so it's a bad deal. And I'm like, okay, that doesn't make any sense because I don't charge myself labor, neither do you guys. Comment down below if you guys charge yourself labor. But anyway, I wrote all of this down so I don't miss anything on this rant. First off, it's really hard to calculate my labor as a YouTuber because sometimes when I do a job, it takes 2 to 4 times longer because I'm filming and talking to you guys and, you know, talking about technical explanations and stuff like that. So it's very hard for me to count you don't want me to count my labor, trust me, because I'm losing on every job. So as a YouTuber, you can't look to my labor as a guide as to the real world cost of something. You can't, okay? Another thing, I assume that people, when they watch a build on YouTube, aren't gonna go out and quit their job to rebuild a car that they found at Copart. Let me know if I'm wrong, but most of you guys, if you wanna do this, would be something you do on the side. You're not literally quitting your job to go rebuild a $5,000 car you found at Copart. So that means that you guys are doing this on what we like to call free time. So there's that term free time for a reason. It's time that's free because you're not getting paid by anybody for that time. So if you're rebuilding a car in your free time, there is no associated labor cost. You're not losing any money by rebuilding that car. You're not quitting your job or taking an unpaid day to rebuild that car. If you're a DIY guy, most of the stuff you do is after you come home from work and you're like, all right, cool, I'm gonna work on my Chevy Silverado or my F-Body or my Mercedes, whatever. And that's your free time, it's a hobby. Let's say you're gonna remodel your bathroom a little by little every day after work. Who are you charging? No one. You're doing it on your free time. So there's no labor associated. If you do plan on quitting your job to do a rebuild, labor time is the least of your concern. You have to have licensings and, you know, shops and employees possibly and stuff like that. So that's a whole nother ballgame where you shouldn't be looking to a YouTube rebuild channel to figure out the labor costs. Okay, my final statement here on my rant on why I do not count labor is if you can't answer this one basic question, you can't count labor into the cost. Who are you billing for the labor? If there is no one to bill, does that labor cost even exist? In my opinion, no, but I'd love to hear your opinion. When you guys see me do a DIY project on the channel, do you think some kind of labor cost should be associated with it? I don't think so. You know, and I've done this another way too, where I've gotten quotes from the dealership and I've shown what the cost would be, you know, at the dealer or an independent shop with labor, obviously.
The ignition coils are $24.70, and the labor for both would be $17.90. Plugs are right at $3.75.
That's a different thing. That's if you're bringing it to them. The whole point is to do it yourself. So that's why I don't think that there is any labor costs, but please let me know what you think. Okay, so there is my rant on why I don't count labor, and let me give you some updates here on the Silverado. Oh, also, we're having a 10% off sale down below I'll leave a link. Ultra Pen Light and the shop wipes. These things have been selling like crazy, so check it out. You'll love them. Hang on, before we continue, I have to let you guys know about the latest product at LegitStreetCars.com. Here it is, the Legit Street Cars Ultra Pen Light. And I could go on for hours talking about how I've spent the last 2 years of my life testing lights in the shop and working with this manufacturer to make sure that every little aspect of this light is perfect and that it's the last pen light you guys will ever need. But instead of getting all into that, I'm just gonna show you what this bad boy can do. We're going dark in the shop so I can show you what this thing can do. So it has an ultra bright spotlight. I mean, this thing, it speaks for itself, guys. Now this also has a super bright floodlight. Look at this thing, don't wanna blind you there. Here's what the light looks like outside in the dark, out in the open. So this isn't just for mechanics, you can use this for camping. And look at how nicely the floodlight just brightens up everything. I mean, it is pitch black out right now. Not anymore. And I designed this pen light to have 2 very convenient magnet locations. So this not only clips on to your shirt, but it'll also clip on to, well, anything that's magnetic and brighten up whatever you're working on. The bottom of the pen light has a magnet too, so you can adjust your light. It'll stay where you need it to stay. You can also measure things like bolts and pieces of metal that you're working on in inches and in centimeters. If you hold down the button, you are gonna get a blue light. So this will check for oil leaks, AC leaks, and well, anything else that blue lights check for. This is one of the only ones on the market that has that as well. My pen light fits your fingers perfectly, and the button is right here. And again, the light is just super, super strong. And for you detailers, this has a CRI 95 color accuracy rating, so you can use this when you're detailing cars to see the difference in a panel color. It's also super impact resistant and durable. We use a very high-powered lithium-ion battery, and we just use a normal USB-C plug, which everybody has. And I've tested dozens of flashlights on the market. I mean, look at the price tags on some of these guys that do basically nothing. No magnets, one light, no floodlight, no blue light. This is the last pen light you guys will ever need, and I appreciate every single one of your orders. Oh, and speaking of orders, everything is fulfilled here. Max and my wife fulfill all of the orders. So we got a couple pen lights going out right now. They make an excellent gift. Check out the link down below, and I cannot wait for you guys to get your very own Ultra Pen Light. But anyway, right now, the main issue with the Silverado is that, well, it's salty outside, so this thing is dirty, and if you guys live in areas like I do, you know, there's really not much of a point to clean this off when it's literally snowing like every day and they're salting and just be ruined right away. But I undercoated the underneath with the AMSOIL heavy duty metal protector, so I'm good. And a bird pooped on the fender. Don't birds migrate in the winter? Like, why do we got birds right now? Anyway, something I did after the last video is install the tonneau cover that Russ gave me. So he saved this after the flood, and I bought it from him, and it's pretty nice. We just have sleds in there left over from sledding with the kids. I still have the Floodline on here because I have Floodline stickers. I had this exact thing recreated in sticker form, so the background will be clear. You could put it anywhere on your car and it'll look just like that, but I don't want to take that off until I get the stickers, then I'll probably just put one there. I think it'd be a funny prank though if you got these stickers and put them on a friend's car or something like that. But anyway, Floodline stickers are on the way, and like I said in the beginning of the video, we bought this thing at $55,225 and we're at $56,262. I'll fire this thing up. She runs great. I haven't had any real issues, nothing really. No lights. The only one that will eventually come on, let's see if I can get it to do it. If I get really close to something, all the parking sensors seem to work. Oh, okay, so the OnStar thing says that, and I called OnStar, and they're having trouble connecting to the truck, but they said they'll definitely fix it and it won't cost me anything. But the other thing, even though all these sensors work, it says driver assist system, and on this truck, that's just those sensors. So I think one of them, I don't know, maybe it's got a bad sensor, something along those lines. It only comes on though every once in a while if I get really close to something. So it's like, I haven't really worried too much about it. Heated steering wheel still does not work. All the other buttons do, so I don't think it's the switch. I think it's the element, and the steering wheel is mint, and this is leather wrapped. And all the ones on eBay, they look horrible. They're cheap, but they look bad. So I'm waiting for like a mint steering wheel so I can replace it, because you can't really replace that heating element. You just gotta do the whole wheel. But my buttons are great and everything, so I just need the wheel part, and that'll be like another, I don't know, $150 or something like that. Other than that, this mirror works. This one doesn't, and it's just a bad motor, and they're like 20 bucks, so I gotta do a mirror there. What else? What else? Everything else has been good. The heated seats work and the AC seats work, but for the heated seats, it's only this section of the seat. The bottom pads do not work, but neither do the ones on my 15 Escalade as well. They failed in the same way, and I guess it's really common, so I don't think that had anything to do with the flood. It's just the heating seat element that goes bad usually first is the one that your butt is always smushing down on. So you can replace just that, which I might do. Hasn't been a big deal. And that is realistically it. 1,000 miles on this thing, no lights on the dash that are, have anything to do with the check engine or airbag system or anything like that. In the real world, this is working, and it is now my daily driver. Got the baby seat in there. This is what we take when we go out with the family and everything. Everybody loves it. We're pickup truck people now. Well, and GTR people, although I've had this for a while, but this is gonna be one of the next videos you guys see on the main channel. It has been seriously about 6 months in the making. A lot of that had to do with waiting for custom wheels, which I picked the wrong color. So now these are out to get coated, doing a little bit under the hood, a little bit of everything. Just a sneak peek to the interior. Lots of interior stuff. And then I'm posting shorts on this channel as well to give you little updates here and there. So definitely follow along on Legit Street Cars 2 for short content like this that kind of fills in the gaps of everything on the main channel, and the shorts will have teaser updates like lightning stuff and, well, the Hellcat blower we just replaced. My buddy Lee from Scrap Life, he sent me an 18 Trackhawk blower because my bearings were bad. You guys have seen me take the blower on and off. That's all I did was just swap it, so it wasn't like video worthy, but that's what's going on with the Hellcat. Other than that, it's good, and that is it. That is it. So please let me know in the comments down below. I'm gonna try to respond to as many of you as possible. Let me know about, well, anything you think about the video that I just made on the real world cost. If you guys have had success stories buying salvage cars or major failures, some cars that you guys are thinking about buying, and then also what you think about my rant on not counting the labor. So anyway, with that, thank you so much for watching Legit Street Cars 2. Check out the link down below for the Ultra Pen Light and the shop wipe. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, share this video, all that good stuff. And I will see all of you in the next video.